in the dying moments of the game, Scotty Mac steps up, delivers for Manchester United, and it was a weird one. It was a weird one tonight. I was actually happy with 99.999999999% of what happened. We just could not finish our dinner. Rashford looked sharp, but he couldn't finish. Bruno created 2 or 3 beyond gilt-edged chances, but we couldn't finish. Ronaldo looked a little bit stiff, as always, but we couldn't finish. The goalie. Honestly, I think this is the reincarnation of Hayes from Top Boy as well, by the way. He was making save after save after save. I thought it was going to be one of them nights. And then Man United should have had a penalty. And then Man United should have been playing against 10 men for a disgusting tackle on Casemiro. And nothing came. And I thought it's going to be one of them nights. We're going to fall right behind Real Sociedad, and we are going to be in problems. Big problems. We're then going to have to go up against a Barca or a Juve or an Ati in the playoffs, an extra 2 games that you don't want this season. But then up he stepped, Scotty McTominay, Sir McTominay tonight. I don't care. Tonight I'm happy. Tonight I'm a Man United fan who is over the moon. I know rivals won't be tuning into the stream because we won in the last moment. You're not here. People call me an Arsenal fan. Nah, I love my club. And tonight, I'm going to break it down. I was happy with everything but the finishing. Everything but the finishing. I was happy with. What do we have? I'm gonna go and count again now. See, 32 attempts on goal. How many of them were even on target? I mean, that probably needs to be improved, to be fair. 11 on target. You know, chances created tonight. We created 29 chances, 9 of which are considered big chances. 7 of those created by Bruno Fernandes. People telling me he didn't do anything tonight. It was the finishing. So I'm very, very happy to win it in the end in the way that we did. There's no doubt about it. And listen, it should have been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The goalie played a big part in that. 2 or 3 saves early on in the first half from Rashford. There was the double save, the Anthony shot, the Rashford follow-up that caught him off guard. It was a follow-up double save. A minute or so later, Ronaldo got the second part of it. I'm not even too sure who got the first shot off now. We had so many chances tonight. I don't even remember who had them all. There was a save. There was a save when it was falling away from it. It was going in from Casemiro, and the mother his hand on it. It was a madness tonight. And I'm very, very happy with the win because we have to go and beat Sociedad. We want to win the group, but we had to win tonight. It was so important. You know, I don't want 2 more games against a Champions League dropout. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. Oh, you lot are laughing, but it's true. It's true tonight. And listen, rivals will banter and go, he didn't score. Listen, I tell you why I'm not angry. Because for the last couple of years, we haven't created the chances. I would rather have games where we're not finishing our dinner, but we're dominating a team than struggling to pass the ball, struggling to work it into the box, struggling to create gilt-edge chances, irrespective of who we're playing against. And so that's why I'm kind of happy and frustrated, you know, like at the same time. You know, we had umpteen touches in their box. I'm trying to look at it. How many touches we have in their box tonight? I'm just looking at the stats here because we had quite a damn lot. I'm going to get those stats in a minute. But we were very good, barring the finishing, and I'll take that. I'll take that. Work on it. Work on your finishing. We won't be that bad at finishing again in the whole season. In the whole season, we will not have another game like that. Bruno tonight should have 4, 5 assists. Rashford should have scored a hat-trick. Ronaldo, a couple of goals. If we played that game again and all those same chances presented themselves, Man United walk away clear winners. Clear winners. You can't be behind on goal difference. Can't top it, mate. Well, we can because Sociedad have still got games to play, right? We can still top our group. What if Sociedad lose the game? What happens then? We beat them and they draw. Say they draw and then we beat them and we win our remaining games. We win our last 2 games and they lose and draw 1. We finish ahead of them. The maths work. But we've got to keep trying. I don't want us just giving up, going, we can't win our group. Let's just throw the towel in. You would beat Juve, Ajax, but would struggle against Barca and Ati. It's not about who we play because if they all drop down, we're probably going to play one of those teams in the quarters anyway. It's about the extra games. I don't want 2 more games. I don't want the team being hurt in that way. Does that make sense? I don't want the extra matches. That's my issue here, not the actual teams we're playing, because you've got to play them at some point anyway. It's the extra games that my issues are with. It's head-to-heads in Europe. Yeah, okay. So if we beat them 2-0 in Sociedad, we go above them, right? So if they beat us 1-0, if we beat them 2-0 in Spain, we go above them. Like, people acting like it. I'm sorry to get angry. I get really angry at this sort of thing. Do you remember last year this happened the same thing? Man United can still win the group. If we lost tonight or dropped points tonight, it would have been almost impossible. We beat them 2-0. I want a yes or no in the comment section. If Man United win 2-0 in Sociedad and win our other game against Sheriff, do we top the group? Yes. So why are you challenging what I'm saying? I'm sorry to say this, but it's really weird. Why are you challenging it? I'm stating straight facts. Come on now. What do you mean no? What do you mean no? It's facts. If you win 2-0, or instead, if we win 2-0. I don't even know why you got to rewrite that. I literally said that. Anyway. Oh my God, I'm going to calm myself down. I'm a bit excited after Scotty Mac gets his winner. I do want to talk about the red card challenge as well, because I mean, this was an absolute disgrace. How in God's name this wasn't given as a red card is beyond me. When you actually watch it in full motion, the second foot comes in. It's a clear, unadulterated red card. And I'm going to say this as well tonight. VAR, I know what VAR did. Legitimately, I know what VAR did. 110%. VAR looked at the situation. They didn't give the penalty and they didn't give the red card because of how small a club Omonia are compared to Man United. That's it. If that would have been 2 teams of even keel, or the bigger team had committed that offense, the referee would have given it. It was a subconscious decision. So, I can't give the pen. It's not fair, is it? They're a small club. And listen, they defended valiantly. They played very well in terms of blocking balls. The goalie was immense. He should never buy a drink. He should never buy a meal. He should have to pay taxes in Cyprus ever again for that performance, because he put in probably the best goalkeeping performance in Cypriot football history. I don't think a goalie ever played that well. If they got a draw tonight, I was reading, that would have been the greatest result in the history of club football for Cyprus. So that goalie deserves to never pay taxes, buy a drink, buy a meal ever again. I'm thinking like statues. You've got Zeus and Hercules. No, that's Greece, isn't it? Sorry, wrong country. Anyway, I'll move on. Do you know what it is? I always think Greek Cypriots. I get very confused with the geography sometimes. Anyway, man deserves a statue wherever it is. Wherever it is. Get it done. Get it done. He was a G. And you've all seen him before, right? You all know this guy, who this guy is, don't you? Because this guy was a big part of one of the greatest TV shows ever created on British television. So we've all seen him, and since the Shane ended him, he's obviously gone on to do other things. He's decided to start a career in football and do his thing there. But he's done very, very well. Should be proud of himself, no doubt about it. You all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm going to give you a few. If you don't know, you got to go. Firstly, you got to go and watch Top Boy. You got to go and watch Top Boy. It's one of the greatest shows ever. But you must have seen him. I'm getting someone to send me through a picture now so I can put it up for you. Yeah, again, he just resembles him for me. He reminds me of him. Let me get you this picture. He does. This is Hayes from Top Boy. That was the goalie tonight. That's the goalie. 100%. That was the goalkeeper tonight. I thought Deshane killed him, but clearly not. Clearly he survived. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a split screen. I'm gonna do a split screen. I'm gonna do a little split screen now, because 100%. Like, I'm not even joking. I actually mean it. I think they look very similar. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna make this now very, very quick. Let me just do this real quick. Real quick. Quick time editing while I'm live on the air. I think they look very similar, personally. Some people may disagree. I don't, though. But, it's all good. Each to their own. I mean, move his picture there. I want to get their faces like side by side, right? I want to get their faces side by side. Where's that one gone? Where's that? Oh, there we go. Right. Let me get this picture here. I haven't got as big a picture of the keeper tonight, right? Let me just do this here. I think they look pretty similar. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Now I'm looking at them face to side to side. No, even though I'm looking at them side to side, I still think there's similarities. 110%. And let me get this up on my screen, right? Waiting for it to load. There's definitely a top boy theme here. 100%. It's loading. It's taking forever. Right? Look, I think they're similar. I think there's a similarities there between the two, man. 100%. I thought Deshane did him in. Clearly not. He moved to Cyprus. He's faked his death. He's moved to Cyprus and become a goalkeeper. Quality. There we go. That's where he's at. Someone says they don't. It's a bit of a joke. Like, I don't mean they're identical and they could like pass off as each other. Just reminded me of him by watching him. I think it's the beard more than anything. It will be comedy gold if you beat Barca in a playoff. Oh, it will. Especially with De Jong now saying, I'm unhappy I've not got regular game time. We told you this, De Jong. However, De Jong didn't stay because he didn't want to join Man United. He stayed because he wanted the money. That's it. We all know this. Time for Bruno to follow Lord Maguire's footsteps and be benched. For a few individuals, brilliant moments he created masks his garbage overall performance. He needed to be more disciplined with the ball. When you say more disciplined with the ball, I'm going to be blunt and defend Bruno tonight. 7 chances created, 4 big chances created. Teed up Rashford for a simple one-on-one. He should have dinked it over the goalie. A brilliant cross to Fred to score a point-blank header. I'm going to be blunt with you tonight. Bruno Fernandes doesn't deserve any criticism. Of course, he misplaced passes. He missed opportunities. Yet his shooting weren't great. But you could label that at every single player in the Man United team tonight. But he created opportunities we should have scored. And if Rashford scores his goal, which he should, if Fred scores his goal, which he should, he walks away with at least 2 assists, and everybody would say brilliant performance. I actually wasn't annoyed with anyone's performance tonight. I was frustrated at the lack of finishing and the brilliant goalkeeping from them. But that's my take. And of course, you're entitled to your opinions as ever. I'm going to bring my little panel out now. We've got Dizzy, we've got Sunshine, we've got KJ. And I'm very, very, very happy to have back on the show tonight Brian. Now, if you've been around the Football Terrace since before we were the Football Terrace, when we used to be called the Devil's Bus TV, you would see Brian all the way from the United States, one of the original members of our panels. Let's get them out now to have their say. And I'm being called out here. Bruno was poor. Terry, come on, stop defending him. Now, I don't think he was. I don't think anybody played poorly. You don't have 80% of the ball, create 29 chances, 7 of them by Bruno, 4 of them considered big chances created. No one played badly. We didn't finish our chances. Now, of course, there'll be moments where someone loses the possession or they play the ball to the wrong person, or they lose the ball. But that happens in games where you don't create that abundance of opportunities. No one's performance was poor outside of the finishing, in my opinion. So I'm going to defend Bruno tonight, because if I said to you Bruno could create 7 chances per game, 4 of them big, would you keep him in the team? Because I certainly would. But that's just my take. But there we go. Right, panel time, people. KJ's here, Dizzy's here, Sunshine's here. How are we doing, people?
Oh, flip it out, bro. What the hell? That sucked. I hate that. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. For once, this season, that's probably the most happy I've been after like Liverpool and Arsenal, in terms of the way that we played and the result and the performance. No one can be mad. Like, honestly, you can't be mad today. There's some days where you're playing as well as you can play, and it just ain't going in. The goal is judged. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Something's going on. That team has played the greatest game they've ever played in that club's history and in their careers. It was a mad game from them. Respect to them. They didn't want to get beat, and they almost did it, but we kept going. And how many times in recent years can we say Man United have won in this style, where we didn't give up, where our heads didn't drop, and we grabbed the last-minute winner when all things looked like it was looking for that famous draw at the Theatre of Dreams for this small separate team? Like, no one can be mad right now. I'm just confused. 31 shots, 33 shots, and we didn't get 1 goal. Madness. Also,
Yeah.
shout out to Scott McTominay. He loves a goal in the cup when we need it. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Yeah, he certainly does, and it was an important goal from him. I want to go to Brian. Brian, long time no speak. It's always nice to get people that were coming on these streams, and we have 3 people watching in total forever. We do 3 live people watching, and I think that was all of us. I don't think anyone was watching when we first started this thing. Welcome back to the show, mate. How you doing?
Doing well, man. How are y'all?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What did you make of the what did you make of the performance tonight?
Honestly, if United wouldn't have won tonight, I would have blamed myself because I haven't been able to watch a lot of games. But every game I've seen to watch,
Brian, can you do me a favor? Brian, can you do me a favor? Could you just connect your earbuds and call back because they're just like yeah, they did. Cheers. We're just chatting to you. Yeah, try and do that first and then come back. Sunshine, long time no speak to you. Like, I want to ask you a question. You don't need to defend me here. Am I completely wrong for being like happy with the overall performance, but just frustrated at the finishing, or were we really bad tonight? Like, what's your take on it?
I don't think we're bad at all. I don't think you're outlandish. I just think you're objective. And sadly, in the emotional world of football, objectivity kind of does slip people's minds because, again, you can only be objective if you're clear. Yeah. Most people are reactionary, so it would be a case of it's either bad or it's good. There's no middle. For me, though, first and foremost, obviously, big up the panel. Thanks for having me back on, bro. It's been a while, I know. I've just moved house, so it's been a difficult one, but hopefully I can catch on more streams. But yes, regarding the game, I'm happy with the performance. I just think it was that lack of quality at times. And don't get me wrong, I've just seen Paul Scholes' interview. He's talking about the goalkeeper, a great performance from him for their goalkeeper. I'm happy for him as he's a United fan. But when you look at, I'd say 60% of the shots, he should be saving them anyway. But then when you look at the reason he saved some of those shots, and I've got to look at Rashford for a couple of those moments. He's missed the ball clearly. He's not really struck the ball with much confidence on the one where he gets up and second saves. That should ultimately be a goal. The left-footed shot, I'm sorry, although it was a great save, the keeper did his job to get across and cover that right space. That's all he could do. You've got to be burying that. I dare say, I'm not going to say if it was Haaland because he's not, obviously Rashford's not a striker, but if that was Heung-min Son or Mane, I'm pretty sure they're bagging that goal, or even Diego Jota. Who play in their similar positions. I think that they're striking that and putting in the back of the net. So that clinical edge is missing from a couple of our forwards, and that cutthroat ability to be able to actually go and grab a goal when it's necessary. And I think that's going to be a downfall later on. However, performance-wise, we all know football's bigger than just goals and passing and tackling. As a whole, as a team and as individuals, I think most of them had a good 80% of a positive game. I'm not saying people will class. I think that's ridiculous, but from a balance perspective, we can be objective on here, which I'm sure we can, Terry, like you have been. I don't think many had a poor game. I think there were poor moments, but overall, I can't see it being a poor game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And listen, I mean, I looked at the stats. I think Bruno lost possession 24 times tonight, but we know why he loses possession. There'll be 5, 6, 7 times where it's a bad touch or he played the wrong pass as an example, but most of the time it's trying to work the ball into the box. There was 4 or 5 times where he crossed the ball into the right area, but they defended well enough to clear the ball. Now, every time that's cleared, that counts as Bruno losing possession. But what are you saying? You don't want him to cross the ball into the danger area in case a defender clears it. If he just kept the ball and played a simple pass, he might have only lost the ball tonight 15 times, and people would say he had a better performance. Bruno Fernandes, as an example, is people focus on the 1 or 2 bad things that he does, and they ignore all the other good things. And at the same time, those same fans are praising and loving what Ten Hag's trying to do, but yet Ten Hag completely trusts Bruno. So for me, it's a case of I'm ignoring the flaws because the qualities outweigh it. And again, if Fred puts that header away, which he should, and Rashford puts that left-footed opportunity away, the man has 2 assists in the first half, and the game's easy, and he probably walks away with a bit more. His finishing was the only thing tonight, which everybody else's finishing was very, very poor indeed. But what are you saying, Brian? So I know we couldn't hear you before, my friend. What do you want to say?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
That's better, my friend.
Perfect. Yeah, earlier I was saying how if United ended up not winning tonight, I was going to blame me because every game that I seem to watch, they always seem to do this whenever I get the opportunity to watch them. But yeah, I was impressed by how well they attacked early. Like they went at Omonia. I mean, with the intent to try to get a couple of goals early to kind of put the game to bed. And I think there are several players in the United team who could have done with that. Christian Eriksen could have done without having to come on to try to help get a result, things like that, consider how much football he's played this year so far. But I believe overall that I think it was a good performance. I agree there were poor moments, but overall it was a good performance, and the goal ended up being really deserved. So it was good.
Definitely. Erik, have you got a baby now?
No, I do not. If you count a cat as a baby.
Oh, is it cat? Sorry.
To be fair, these two down there in cat gang. Like I saw your cat.
I love cats. I had 3 cats, and they were well. Individuals. All my cats.
He's right here. To be fair, you want to see him?
Yeah,
I love cats. Cats are better than dogs. I like dogs as well, by the way. Cats are better.
There he is. Is that a cat flipping? Oh,
it looks like a lion. Look at that bad man. What's his name? His name?
Carmelo.
That's nice.
Like
my cats are all named after Man United players or legends. So I had Bobby after Bobby. I had Wazza, and we had Chicharito because I brought him in around the time where Fernandes was killing it. And then we found out it was a girl, so we shortened it to Chicha, which just means girl.
Or you can call it Chikorita, which is also the female.
Yeah. So we did it, and we changed it from little P to lady. But yeah, no, I hear what you're all saying. I wanted to ask you first, Dizzy. Why was this not given as a red card?
Preposterous, fam. That shit was crazy, bro. How, you know what's crazy? If you saw his face when he got the yellow, it was like a sigh of relief. He knew that he needed to be sent off. I don't know. You know what my problem is with VAR? VAR doesn't actually clear anything up or make anything easier to understand as far as decision makings go, because there's still mad questions about it. That was a clear red to me, and I don't even think it's debatable.
Yo, DZ, bruv, look at Terry, put that image up again for 1 second. The man's breakdancing. What the hell is that, fam? His hand is on the ground.
He's actually doing a reverse turn.
He's doing a helicopter, bruv. Like, it's ridiculous. How is that not a penalty? How is that not a penalty?
We've got to have a serious conversation.
Yeah. So
we've got to have a serious conversation at the moment about UEFA, because I'm sorry, yeah. Obviously, we saw the Martinez one. Man didn't even want to check VAR for one, right? So again, and by the way, human error is part of the game. Objectively, again, I'm going to keep using that word and drill it into people's head. Objectively, and I mean this with all genuine intentions, it's okay to make mistakes. I get it, right? Human sees something in the heat of a moment, cool. But then when you have a chance to clear something up, surely you'd want to do that with in the integrity of the game. Martinez didn't get checked. This one gets checked, and they still say, yeah, keep it as a yellow. But 2-2s, and again, maybe different game, but still the same principle is Dalot gets a yellow card for a standard slide tackle in a derby on one end of the field, and you can throw it back to last season. And we can talk about handballs. Last season against Flippy Middlesbrough in the cup, them man basically basketball played it into the net, got advantage of it. Whereas just the other day, Rashford, apparently he's not allowed to have that goal. Like, there has to be that. I'm not using outlandish arguments to at least put forward the question of, is there a level of corruption towards football? And again, it may not be Man United. It may not be Manchester United. I think again, and I have to be objective here, it's not just Manchester United, but these decisions that are clearly, like, they're not accurate. They're clearly not accurate. There must be someone benefiting behind closed doors, and it's football. It's football. Bro, I don't care that them people are wallads.
Do you know what's crazy about it? Like, I don't think those handballs in close proximity. So Gabriel's at the weekend, Luke Shaw against West Ham last season. They're never handballs for me. Unless someone moves themselves into position, they're never handballs because you can't get out the way. Now, as you say, this was given as handball. Arms are tucked in. So the handball was given after the ball hit the thigh and then hits his left arm, which is tucked in close to his body. That was given off by VAR as handball. This, and it isn't one because it's deflected and his body's tucked in. This week, we see this one here where the ball travels about 20 yards. His arm is by his side, but we all saw it in real time. He leaned into it and he misses it with his chest and it hits his arm.
Correct.
It is a 110% handball. Now, I'm not someone who hypocrisizes himself. I'm not someone that says Gabriel's isn't, and then a few days later, if it was exactly the same as Gabriel's, I would say, no, I don't think they should be given. This was the complete opposite. For this not to even be looked at is an absolute an abomination. And then seconds later, the red card tackle goes in. And for me, I believe it's corruption. I don't necessarily think someone's making money, but I believe it was almost, we know how small a club Omonia are. They don't stand a chance to be given a penalty. They don't stand a chance if they go down to 10 men. It was almost, let's keep 10 players on the pitch. Because if that was Casemiro making that tackle, if Lissandro's arm was in that position, it's a penalty. Now, that isn't a conspiracy against Man United. It's almost a case of when they put these tiny teams in and you're almost on the edge of an historic result, which is good for UEFA because that's why they're here supposedly. You're in a situation where, well, let's keep things as close as we can. And for me, the referee did, and I'm not calling out Mark Goldbridge because I dislike him. He's the GOAT in this industry. But the refereed the occasion, i.e. tiny team versus big team, and he didn't referee the football match. And that's exactly why it can't stand, because Casemiro's leg could have been broken tonight. Let's have that right. Casemiro's leg could have snapped in half, and then what? And you're encouraging that kind of tackle. And equally, Man United could have dropped points in a game where you could argue we deserved to win because we had so much of the ball. The goalie had a world-class performance. Like the goalie tonight, I had a few. I didn't even know where the gentleman was from. And then people are telling me that a lot of Nigerian fans are saying, listen, he's never this good for Nigeria. What's he doing, right? I didn't know where he was from. I didn't know who he was until tonight. Fair play. But it was like they deserve credit for that. But it was almost like they tried to create a narrative, and it was disgusting to see that, especially the red card tackle, because it was a leg breaker, and you have to stomp them out of football. You have to.
No, the narrative was clear. The narrative was so clear today. And I get it. I get it. The spectacle, the story, the theater of dreams, bro. You know what I mean? I get it. I get all of that. But you have to officiate. You have to officiate properly. You can't officiate the occasion because then you're being unprofessional. You know what I mean? Now I have to question your professionalism because you're letting Twinkles and Stars and Disney Plus take over your mind. This ain't Disney Plus. This is football, my brother. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
You know what it is for me. I think it's similar. I mean, to take it a little bit sideways, it's kind of like F1 where they're at the moment with like officiating in football. It's for the entertainment value. It's not necessarily to benefit X team or to pull X team down. We want to create a spectacle. So they kind of throw the what's the word? Not authenticity, like the consistency of the rules out the window for, well, this will make a greater product, if you get what I'm saying. This will be more entertaining. That's kind of what I feel with where refereeing is at the moment.
It definitely, it's like an Sociedad game. Maybe the referee's like, oh, you know what? We'll give the pen. United are going to score anyway. It won't even matter. And there was a comment there saying, why are we talking about the ref? We play the League One side. The handball isn't, I wouldn't have probably mentioned the handball because it would have been a case of we've got to score. My issue with the red card tackle is I don't give a shit how bad our finishing is. I couldn't give two monkeys. I couldn't give a damn, right? For me, it's a case of that could have broke his leg, and I don't care the situation, the game, friendly, cup final, you send the man off for that tackle. You send someone off. And what I was grateful for is that no one else then put in a tackle like it. Going, well, hang on a minute. The precedent has been set. We saw just last night, the night before. Last night, sorry, Chelsea, Milan. Referee made some bad decisions early, and that game got out of control. And the last thing you want in any match is a game getting out of control. Omonia were tired. They were throwing their bodies at things. Thankfully, they remained professional themselves and didn't do anything to damage any Man United players, because that's the last thing that you need. So, yeah, it's not about we didn't win by more because of the ref. It's the referee's got to send the man off for that kind of tackle. I've got some super chats here. You just go for these super chats. Sorry, guys. Jesse Dyer, thank you for renewing your membership, bro. Really appreciate that. The Omonia keeper put in a performance of a lifetime. And I mean what I said. The guy needs, I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm probably going to offend people. And he said he needs a Greek statue, but obviously a Cypriot, they're pretty close, right? They're near each other. Right?
Next to each other, yeah.
Next to each other, cool. And do you know why I always get confused with the two countries? Because I know a lot of Greek Cypriots, and I've never asked them the question, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never asked a question just because I've accepted it. Do you get what I mean? I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, there obviously is a difference, but it is what it is. It's because I'm accepting of people. I don't really care. It's like, what's your name, though? My name's Jason. Great. You're a good guy.
Gotta run, gents, real quick. Sorry about that.
No worries,
Yeah.
bro.
Love
No
the
worries,
terrace.
bro. Catch you
Appreciate
in a
you
bit.
having me on.
Cheers,
Yeah,
bro.
thanks, bro.
See you later, mate. Thank you, bro. Lindelof is actually a very good ball. We know Lindelof's a good ball playing centre back. He's always been a good ball playing centre back. He has. Terry Bruno needs to be closer to the midfield instead of the striker. He needs to create goals.
No.
He did though. He did create the opportunities tonight. He created so many opportunities for us to score. Do you know what I need to do? It will never happen. We need to commission and get all the big Bruno haters onto like 4 or 5 watch-along streams on the bounce. But every time he does the things they say he doesn't, you point it out and make them talk about it. Because I think people ignore what he does, you know. I really do. 92 minutes to put the ball in the back of the net of a Cypriot volleyball team. Shocking, we made Omonia FC keeper look like a prime Buffon. Trashford out.
Oh, come on, mates. Come on. Bro, we're not going to win every game 5-0, 6-7, 8-0. There's literally, it's football. There are days where these things happen. And to be fair to Rashi, he's one of our better players. Like he was.
He faded in the second half. He did fade a bit in the second half.
Yeah, he faded, but like in that first half especially, he was driving, taking shots, taking on players, winning fouls. How many times did he get dragged back after he spun a guy to drive into the space? Like
Rashford had the irony with Rashford tonight is he did all the things that everyone moans that he doesn't do in terms of the performance. He just didn't score the goals. And tonight was one of those nights. And if we played this well again against this same team, I honestly think we put 8, 9, 10 goals past them.
No,
if we played that again tomorrow and played to that level, 8, 9, 10 goals. And the reason why I'm happy is the performance was there. And do you know what I'm going to say to the Rashford haters, the Bruno haters, the Man United haters? You man sat here for 2 years and went, I know we just won 3-0, but the performance was bad. It's not sustainable. Tonight's performance is sustainable because you won't continue to miss that volume of chances every single week. The performance is what everybody's been asking for. We have the performance and people still want to moan. For me, I'm not going to do it because the performance is what everyone wanted. And if we perform like this in most games, it was a follow-on from we win 60, 70, 80% of them. You know, it's 2 good performances on the bounce. We just weren't clinical tonight, but I can take that. I don't want to go back to those games in the Europa. Go back to even the Jose year when we won it. Go back a couple of years ago when we got to a semi-final and a final under Ollie. Some of those games, how we got through each game, I don't even remember. It was
Copenhagen 1-0. Man, the way we was clutching at straws, bro. That was insane.
I think the biggest thing you're pointing out, sorry. Oh, sorry, go on, brother.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say about that performance, too. One of the things that we've seen in the last 2 years that was not evident tonight, in the past years when United have come up against opposition that they should be beating, you know, not struggling to find one goal against, you know, we knock it around along the back line and then somebody would hit it long into the box for somebody to knock down. That didn't happen tonight. They stuck to the plan and it paid off. And I think the other thing that's so impressive to me was the fact that Scott McTominay, a player that many Manchester United fans said was finished years ago, came off the bench and scored the winner, which personally to me is a testament to what Ten Hag is doing with the players. So, I mean, again, yes, we were playing against Omonia and we should have been beating them by more than just one, but the fact they stuck to the plan and were rewarded for it is a huge testament to the team and the players.
And about what Ten Hag is doing, I remember in the summer, because Ten Hag was new, was fresh, we was all projecting and predicting what he's going to do. And a lot of us said, he's gonna buy players 25 and younger, build a young squad, and we'll build it that way. Or that's what people wanted to do. Fast forward now, we're in the Europa League, and this is where people thought, yeah, just play the kids, get them experience and grow. But Ten Hag's like, nah, we are playing the team. We're playing the proper first team and I think he's doing that because he's like, right, these young kids are not ready to come into this team yet because the football is not where I want it. So for this first season, it actually will be, we will play full strength when we can, because the football and the system needs to be mastered. So when it is, that's when the young players can come in. If we're in the Europa League again next year, hopefully not, we might see more rotation because the system will be laid down with better players.
The defeat against Sociedad and the fact that making top 4 this year is hard, irrespective of how good we become. He will be looking at this as, I need to be in this in the knockout stages because this may be the only legitimate chance of Champions League football. So I think both those things are absolutely key. Integrating the system and getting through. Now, if we'd have scored some goals in that Sociedad game and didn't concede that penalty and we win this, maybe today we're sitting there on 9 points instead of 6, and you can start Igbal, you can start Garnacho. You can't do that right now. You've got to get through to that. The thing with the Europa League is you have to be in it in those knockout stages, because then it becomes more potent. Then it becomes a bigger tournament, especially if you're not in the top 4. Equally, though, I'm not saying we will be. If we came to like end of Feb, beginning of March, and we were in 3rd position, and the team in 5th were 15 points behind us, they won't take the Europa League as seriously. They won't, because they won't need to. Like, winning the Europa League is great, but it is that competition that you don't want to be in. Winning the Europa League is only good for, in my opinion, a bit of confidence, a bit of game time, and getting you into that Champions League. That's what I think it's there for. Jesse Dyer here says, props to Omonia and the keeper. 34 shots, 13 on target, 78% possession. We didn't force it until the end, which is good to see. The final ball is still an issue, but it's coming. I agree with you, Jesse. I believe the sports books influence these decisions due to the liability of big games and amount of money on them. That's a good point. VAR's designed to rule out legitimate goals for something that happens 10 minutes ago. It's called Betfred Control Room. No red card, no pen. Ridiculous is what Chess has got to say there. And do United fans regret not signing Arnautovic?
Did he score today? Does he play today? Like, why is Arnautovic?
No, I think it's because of the striker situation. I don't personally, to answer your question again, I'm one fan of many, but me personally, I don't personally regret buying Arnautovic specifically. Do I regret that we didn't buy a striker of a better quality than Arnautovic, in my opinion? Yes. But yeah, Arnautovic specifically, me personally, I couldn't want that Wallad anywhere near Man United. But we do need a striker, of course.
Yeah, I think we again tonight. It's so hard for me to say it because of how much I love and respect Ronaldo as a football player. But he again just looked. There was 2 or 3 attempts he had, and we know he's a great finisher. So it's not his finishing. I honestly think it's his ability to stretch his body in certain directions, open his hips up in the right way. Like, I'm 36, and I've had about 3 or 4 months with almost 0 training in the gym. I've started to train the last few days, and I can feel my body feeling different. And I am getting old, and I'm aware of that physically. And whether you're an athlete or whether you're just a general dad at home, you go through these periods where your body just starts to change, and you're like, Jesus Christ, the world's different. And I feel like Ronaldo's gone for it. So I don't regret not getting Arnautovic. I regret not buying a striker, because what the game needed tonight was a young, fit striker that could hold that ball up, bring people into play, because there were times in the game again where it was like we had 10 men on the pitch. And that's not an excuse for not beating this team by more goals. But for me, it's the facts. We're joined now as well by man. Sorry, I didn't mean to remove you, KJ. Cameron's with us now. How you doing, Cam?
All right, man. I've been real busy, so I haven't been able to jump on. But I'm taking the moment after watching what I just saw there that was wild.
Hey,
I've never seen anything in my life.
Cam, is that the female Man United top with where the breast is shown?
Nah, he's got the button open.
Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
I
Wait.
thought it was the breast United shirt. You know the one, because obviously I got
Wait.
colour.
This is the year Lukaku joined.
Yeah.
Well, I'll allow you, because anyone buys kits that comes on this channel, I'm sending a hit team.
Oh no! Look at how old this is.
Yeah.
This is like
Lukaku, man.
This is like old. But
Do you know what I saw today? You know the people that organize the protest? I saw one of the guys that runs it moaning about how money hungry the Glazers are. They were complaining about how there's a section in the stand for tonight. The tickets normally sell for like £35 a ticket, but for some reason they're charging £350 for each ticket, and they're pretty much sold out, saying it's a disgrace how much they cream off us. And I'm sitting there going, and you man block me for saying they extort you money, and then you're moaning about them extorting you money. You couldn't write it. You literally couldn't write it. Couldn't write it.
This is why I announced this now. I've put down my resistance flag. I've put it down. I've put it because what's the point, bro? What is the flipping point?
I'm literally at a point where I'm like, I'm not gonna go Glazer in. I'm just like, I might as well just you can't beat them, join them. I might as well just join in and buy the shirts and look like a Man United fan on the surface. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stand my ground and not give these SOBs any of my money. Cam, what did you make of the game tonight, mate? Because there's across socials, there's like a conflict. Some people are like, we played well but didn't score. Some people are like, it was awful. Like, where do you stand, brother?
Some people can't be happy, man, and they don't want to be happy. Like, the way I look at it, I was completely fine, even if we didn't. Like, if we drew that game, it's like, what are you gonna do? You had 10 shots on target at one point. It was 10 shots, 32 total, 70% possession going into before that shot from Scott McTominay. And it was like we had great patterns of play, 718 passes complete. Like, we looked good. We looked great. Like, I was like, this is the best. I was talking to my boys on the side. I'm like, yo, this is the best I've seen us look, and that team's trash. I get it. But the best I've seen us look in this kind of situation. When it was happening with Ollie, you're kind of like, oh my God, passing around the box, not creating chances. We created loads. Just nobody could finish. Like the Nigerian goalkeeper, he had 2 double saves in a row where I'm like, all right, I get it. Rashford scuffed the shot, but still to get back up and make that, what are you going to do, right? You can't, there's moments where you're just, this is the only sport where this can happen. Like, you've seen Italy do it in a couple World Cups where you just hold on for dear life and nothing seems to work. And that was happening to us tonight. And Scott's turn was amazing. Like, that was a great turn. Nice. Like, you got to give the man props. Like, that's
I'm going to talk about what happened before, though. Like, are we going to talk about what happened before with Jadon Sancho, bro?
Yeah, that has to be mentioned, because if you think about Sancho as well, right? He literally got benched because of that similar move where he could have gone forward. He turned to go back to Malacia, and obviously then man scored, and obviously he's holding bench after that. Today, it was literally like he had a shock and was like, you remember when Tyson Fury got up after like 7 seconds for his knockout? Literally, he turned out to face the opposite way and thought, shit, can't do that. Went back to London, dragged back the ball, sent man the next way, and obviously now he's facing the goal and put it on the plate for McTominay. I mean, McTominay had a lot of work to do, obviously credit that, but it was good. You're right to highlight that, KJ.
And I think, and the thing is like, the reason why I'm happy we won because we needed to win, but I'm not upset because we looked good, and we just need a striker at this stage. We know it. Yeah.
Cam, you're bang on, mate. And it's one of those things for me. I'd always know when United have done all right and we've got a result that people wanted us to lose by the amount of rivals that don't turn up to these streams, right? I just know, right? If we'd have drawn tonight, there'd be 5, 6, 7,000 people here going, rah, but they're like, sod that. I don't want to hear them be happy. And I remember, I know it fell away, and I don't think Ten Hag will necessarily fall away in the same way that the Ollie did. But I remember the Brighton game where we scored that penalty after full time. And I came onto the stream and everybody was angry. And I'm like, as a fan, if you're not buzzing at those moments, there's something wrong with you, because we deserve something out of that game. They started well. We then dominated for large parts. We got into in the lead, and then they took over a bit, and they scored a last-minute goal. Then we put the pressure back on them. We had a penalty and we won. It was a hard game, but we deserved to get something from it, and everyone's like moaning. And I see that a lot. And we had it last year, KJ. Man, of times we did these shows, and everyone would win games, and everybody would come on and be negative. And it's a case of you can't always be negative. We played well tonight. We deserved to win. We did win. And listen, last-minute goals are in our DNA. I know people hate that phrase, but they are literally like Fergie time will be said for
I actually tweeted that
100 years.
I did tweet it like 20 minutes before it happened. I did tweet it. I was like, this game just feels like we're going to get a Fergie time winner.
But I think
you're good.
Look at all the red shirts in the box. And at that moment, I was like, all right, we're going to score. There was like 6 red shirts in the box. I was like, there's no way if we get a shot and we're not scoring.
You know what it is? You guys are good, isn't it? Man was, Pastor. I know you're still there, Pastor Brian. Listen, I was Thomas, bro. I was doubting Thomas, fam. I saw the time. I was like, it ain't happening. I thought it was Stoke. Remember Stoke with Lee Grant? having a masterclass.
Oh.
You remember at Burnley with flipping Tom Eaton?
Tom
with a
Eaton,
masterclass.
Tom
I
Eaton.
thought it
Almost
was
broke his arm with the flattened header.
Yeah. It's something like, I was like, you know what? It's one of these days. It's just one of those days. And
Do you know what?
Fergie time is back, baby.
I'm taking the credit though, because what I did from the 88th minute until the end is I muted the sound on the Mac in here. I put a towel over it and I just kept on lifting it every like 30 seconds to see if we scored. I couldn't watch it anymore. I went out and made a drink, went to the bathroom, got the lighting done, and then I looked and it was still that. And I looked away, and then I could see like the corners of the screen, and I could tell we'd scored by the camera angles on the celebration. And I was like, oh, I was so happy. I was so happy. And I was glad Scotty Mac got it as well, because he gets a little bit too much abuse for my liking personally, but that's just me.
Imagine if the fake Bruno on their team, the Cyprus Bruno or the Brazilian Bruno.
Oh, if you squared that ball.
If you squared that ball, it could have been a different game.
It could have been peak if that happened. But I see a lot of people getting on at Anthony as well. The one thing I agree with is I don't understand why Anthony doesn't drive at people more.
You know what it is? I think he knows he's not as quick as he looks in the Eredivisie. So it's like he actually can't beat a man the same way. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. I think he knows that.
No, he can't beat a man, KJ, because he's only got one foot. I said this 3 games ago. He's got the strongest left foot you'll ever see. Everything he does is on his left. When he's meant to dribble on his right, like a standard natural footballer, he uses left foot only. So when he did that little bit of skill, I think it's 2 games ago on the sideline, he did the roll ball, pretend to drag it back, rolled it forward, did it twice, right? When everyone's clipping that picture up of Bruno not being in the hole, although he's been asked to be on the higher line, but that's another conversation. He's got 1 foot. And I literally said, if he doesn't turn into prime Robben at his peak, then I'll be honest, I will give him tough love, because I'm sorry, I respect the player, I love the player, I've got time for the player. But when it comes to every player who has to improve and has deficiencies, he's going to need to utilize that right foot, because a couple of times, I think it was last game as well, prior to the Everton game, he was on the left-hand side shooting down. There was an opportunity where he tried to actually play the ball just on the edge of the 18-yard box across the floor. He ended up using the outside of his left foot when he could have simply used the inside of his right foot to bring the ball curved towards the shooter. It's gone out wide, we lost the ball. These little intricacies of his game, I hope he improves. If he doesn't, especially in the Prem, and again, let's be honest, we can all be honest here, the Premier League, what it was like back a day, like they didn't have as many technically advanced centre-backs, defenders and midfielders who could do more than one job. They're evolving. So you've got to be able to use 2 feet in this day and age.
Yeah, I think
and it's not even just Anthony with the 1 foot thing. All of our wingers are the same. Rashi's the same. Sancho's the same. Sancho's very right-footed. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like we need.
He will pass with his left. He will.
That is true. And Rashi tries to pass with his left, and it's a 50-50 if he actually gets there or not. But yeah, our wingers do need development. I think with Anthony, it's a bit of him trying to pace himself, trying to get to understand where he now lies in this kind of Premier League level, and I think it'll just take him a little bit more confidence, maybe a few more nutmegs, maybe a few more ball rolls past people, and I think he'll start doing it. But I feel like he's just taking his time. I think Ten Hag's also probably told him just ease on the skills for now, get used to the game, and then do it later.
I read an interview. I read an interview where they said that they've been working on his right foot at Ajax, and Ten Hag has basically said, I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, we've told him, it's like, why are you not doing it? So it's almost the manager is telling him you've got to go on that outside more. There's times where I think he's beaten the man, and I agree. I agree. I think he doesn't have the confidence on that right foot. So he sees the opening, he's in it. You think now drive like in a straight line, just run. Even if you're not quick enough to completely clear him, the guy's going to make a tackle. You could get a free kick or a pen, and it's almost like I don't quite trust myself on that right foot. But then he is still young, and I think that we shouldn't be thinking about him as a 27-year-old at the peak of his powers. Joshua Jack here says, do you guys think it's funny as soon as we are linked with Diogo Costa, De Gea starts acting like a modern goalkeeper?
You have to put respect on De Gea, man. I'm not having it. The amount of people I had to cuss in spaces, and KJ, you were there actually. I was at the train station one time. We're in the space. I remember the conversation about De Gea. And I was saying, I can't stand extremists. I've got no issue with saying De Gea may not be the keeper for the future. I'd agree with most of you.
Yeah.
Because of the deficiencies, no problem. But at least give him a chance to either prove you right or wrong. Because if you think about what you're actually asking him to do, you have to ask yourself the question, is it absolutely astronomically difficult to ask him to either come 5 yards off his line and to make consistent 5-10 yard passes when necessary? Is that a hard skill to do? I think everyone on this panel could be able to do that 60-70% better if they were trained on it. These are professional footballers.
Yeah.
The fact that he's now doing it, I'm not seeing it. And this is the issue I get with United fans where I say,
bro,
what? It's like we see a problem, right? And then we act on fear. So we're fearful of that problem happening again. And I think it's the same with Bruno. We fear that these things will happen. So then we shut off our open mind. We go, you know what? He's got these issues. I'm leaving it there. I've got no patience to see if he can improve. I'm happy with this improvement. And then when they prove you wrong, you sit there and start sucking your dummy because you're thinking, what am I going to say now? Like, it's stupid.
No, I agree. I agree. And I think that ironically as well, we also defend some players saying they've had bad managers for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, but then other players don't get that same leeway. It's weird. Jesse here says, has anyone noticed how Anthony won't use the low as an overlap? He will have acres of space once he starts doing so. It's the reason Sancho looked weaker on the left than he did on the right. Listen, there is loads of things that Anthony's got to improve on. I'm also still weirded out by Delo. I don't know if he's as good. I mean, the guy seems to get booked in every game. That's a worry for me. I think he's good. I think he's done a good job.
He's a good player.
He's done a good job, but I think we still need to look for better, if that makes sense. I feel like he can fill a hole, but he's one of those people. I just think he looks good being okay. He's technically good. He's got the right attitude. He's obviously someone that, you know, we were actually watching content in the studio on Tuesday, and we were looking back at, because I'm just planning just before the little space between the Premier League ending and the World Cup starting, and I want to do another like greatest reviews of the greatest ever fan cams, and we were watching the one of the guy that's crying about how good AWB is at tackling. I don't know if you guys have seen that. You must have. The guy says, he wins the ball so much, and he's crying, right? And but the point I'm making is that in the first 18 months of AWB, everyone loved him, and I feel like we're getting that same love for Delo, but we've got to learn from our own mistakes as fans. Have we really got a right back who is defensively and attackingly as good as we believe he is? I'm not convinced yet. He's been good, but he's not Cancelo, you know. And that's what we need to aim for. We need to have players of that level, you know.
Yeah, exactly that. Because I think Delo is. I think Delo. So I posted the other day, like I went back because I recorded the games. I go back and watch them, and I watched the Everton game. And one of the two things I got eviscerated for. One was we don't really need to look for a keeper at the moment. Like it's a low priority because we're seeing De Gea get better. There isn't many better shot stoppers in the world. And if he can, like you said, Nate, you just come off your line and make 5-yard passes, then he's fine. Like you don't need a world-class goalkeeper to win things. As we've seen, Ederson's really good at distribution, not really good at saving the ball. Like you don't need, there's just certain parts of the team you don't need to win things. And especially if we're going to be a possession-based team, yes, I know we need to play out from the back, but we don't need De Gea to be spraying it all the time, like perfectly. We just need him to be adequate in that position. So we have bigger things to worry about. Delo is another one where I'm like, he needs competition. And realistically, Delo should be the second best on our team if we're going to be challenging for a title. At his skill level, unless he gets loads better, he should be the second best. He shouldn't be our first choice.
Yeah, I was legit thinking that, Cam. I was sitting, I was watching the game. I was like, raw. Where's this AWB brother gonna get a game, bro? Because I'm like, Delo's just gonna play every game at this point.
Every game.
And it's just like, that's not good. That's not good for anyone, because it's not good for him because he'll get burnt out and then he'll look worse again. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not good for us because we need a better right back and we just need competition at spot. Like AWB and Brandon Williams sitting there doing
it's pointless. Well, I think to the comment of the gentleman who dropped the super chat in, I think you also have to put some, again, whether you rate it or not, some credit or some discredit to Ten Hag, because if you actually notice, both fullbacks are coming inverted now, which creates more space wide. That's something quite new, but that is also something that he was doing in Ajax when they were a little bit more competent. His fullbacks are coming inverted. So you saw actually Dallo on the edge of the 18-yard box on the inside a lot more, same with the fullbacks, and his wingers were actually a lot wider. With Anthony, he naturally comes in on his left. Most of his games are like 60%, I'd say 70% is cutting on your left. He likes left-footed right wingers. Why? Because he wants them to cut in. So the overlap is very rarely going to happen the more time this system happens. Again, when it does happen, though, and if it's on, of course, you've got to use it. But I'd just be mindful of that.
Yeah, I was going to play this interview. People are telling me it's really good. Everyone sent it to me. Let's see what the keeper of Omonia said tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's decent stuff.
An amazing point this evening. How frustrating, how disappointed are you?
Okay, I am not disappointed though, because we had a great game, but I would have preferred to get that disappoint. But I'm happy. It's not an easy stadium to play in with these big players, so I'm happy in general.
You're a big
The smile on his face,
about
like
to say,
how
look
happy the man is, you know.
United fan as well.
Yeah.
I saw your tweets when the draw was made. What was it like playing out there tonight?
It's a dream come true for me. I have dreamed to play here for a long time. So when I saw the draw and I figured that I would be playing in Old Trafford, I wanted to play, and I prayed to God to get an opportunity to play. So I got it, and I am happy I played here.
I'm just really, I made up for him. Like, he looks so happy that he's done that. But there we go. I know there's a bit of a... Go on, mate.
To come here and like it's your dream as a United fan and be a goalkeeper and only lose 1-0 and have like the game of your life, you gotta respect it. You know what I mean? If you came here as like it's my dream to come and get thrashed like 8-0, it's kind of like, oh, well, your dream kind of got shattered there. You know what I mean?
And he'll be sitting there with his grandchildren in 50 years' time, 60 years' time, saying, "Look what I did." He just cut the highlight short by like a minute. Do you know what I mean? But still, like, he'll be so happy with that. Like, I like seeing stuff like that. And I think sometimes, and I mean, Lee Gunner have had this debate before. Football is only about the best teams always winning, and it is to a degree. But there is a world of football and sport outside of the elite of the elite of the elites. And with all due respect to these guys, they are not European elite. So losing 1-0 to Man United after being dominated that way, him doing that, for him, I've seen people win trophies and look less happy, if that makes sense. So yeah, fair play to him. Like, really, really happy for him and everything else.
Would you replace him, Terry?
What with him?
Would you sign him to replace De Gea?
Nah. I like him, but not that much.
We can do a Igalo sitch. Just bring him on loan.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let him come on and play like against bad. I've heard these
Nigerian community would like fully invest in shirts as well. Glazers money. Yeah, this is winning.
A lot of my Nigerian followers have said that he's really bad. Sorry.
Well, I mean, he can do what the Bravka's doing. Like,
and just give him a little like £25,000 a week to just help the hair in training. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could do that. Give me 5,000 a week. I'll do that. It'd be great. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, I really do appreciate it. We're back tomorrow with the Done Deal show with Ben Jacobs. We've got the top 6 show in the afternoon as well. My Liverpool City prediction as well. Who's scared of who this week? We don't know. That's coming out later in the scared editions. Boys, I really appreciate it. Brian, always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. Canadian Cam, KJ, Sunshine, of course. Dizzy was on earlier with us as well. Thank you very, very much indeed. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.